Yeah, as a player, you can't allow, the elements to affect, or as a coach, what you want to try and accomplish here. But, hopefully the rain slows down. An opportunity to win a championship as you look at Tony Coca, and has to be excited to be here unbeaten at this point in the year. And I think a big surprise, not only the people in the area, but I think there's coaching staff. But they have done a tremendous job, and they have earned every win. 11-0, they're the Mountain Valley Conference champs, and an opportunity to, put another trophy in that trophy case. And that is always a special night. This quite honestly, Dan, nobody down on the field knows it's raining. It'll certainly hurt the gate. It'll keep some people at home. But, you have an opportunity to play in a championship game, and a lot of guys do not get that opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. And you talked about Whitehall's chances earlier this season. It looked like they were going to finish dead last, and they had everybody convinced that was the case, and obviously that is not the case at all. And we take a look at what may lie in one of these two teams' future.
Yeah, well, you look down at on the lower left of your screen, Whitehall Parkland. The winner will advance to take on either Central Dauphin or Cumberland Valley. Central Dauphin to this point in the year 11-0. That's the same team that eliminated Whitehall last year down at Hershey. Cumberland Valley at 10-1. And from my understanding, Dan, that game will be played in District 11 next Friday night. So we'll see a side on there. But you see the other team, defending state champs, CB West, they're very much in the hunt. Heck, they're unbeaten at, again, 11-0. Norristown 10-1. And then out west you have Shenley at 10-1, Cathedral Prep, State College, Altoona, Newcastle, Woodland Hills, North Allegheny, and Penn Hills. Those are the teams still alive in the 4A class.
Our referee tonight is Frank D'Angelo, and if you can read lips, you garnered that it'll be Parkland will receive the football to start things off if they have won the coin toss. D'Angelo will be joined by Dick Snell, Joe Lingenza, Mike Lukat, Mel Riddick, Herb Burrell, and Frank DePaulo, as we have an all-star cast for our District 11 championship final. This is Class 4A, the biggest schools in the district. Going head-to-head, these are the final two survivors of what has been a very arduous year. Got to give Whitehall a lot of credit with that 11-0 record. They faced some stiff challenges along the way, and they're facing a very tough one here tonight, as they found out during the regular season.
All started out with a 17-13 win over Central. Shutouts over East Stroudsburg at Pocono Mountain.
And we'll go to Al DiCarlo now for a quick pregame update. Al?
All right, Dan, I decided that I didn't need the umbrella just yet. Before, it was really coming down. Now it's slowed down and started to pick up again as I'm talking to you, but it's not that bad right now as it was about a half an hour before the game, and we'll keep you posted on the weather conditions down the field. As for both coaches, it's simple. They said, this is the game. The better team's going to win. I said, is that it, guys? They said, the better team's going to win tonight. Obviously, stopping Chad Schwank, stopping Sean Blythe, the keys to both teams tonight. Back to you guys.
All right, when these two teams met October 9th, 1998, it was Chad Schwank really doing a fine job. Mike, as you called it, picked apart the Parkland defense, going 15 out of 28 attempts for 223 yards in the air.
Well, make no mistake about it. If Chad Schwank has a hot night tonight, Parkland is going to be in for a long, long night. I mean, he has had a tremendous season. He already has passed for more yards than any Whitehall quarterback in a single season, 1947 coming in here tonight. And it's an amazing story considering the young man was a record-setting receiver a year ago. But in talking with a couple of the assistant coaches at Whitehall, everybody feels that made Chad Schwank a better quarterback. Because what they do here at Whitehall is they read not only with the quarterback, whether with the receivers. So I think Chad Schwank really has a great understanding of this passing attack that they have. And playing wide receiver had them, but a couple of numbers within his reach. Chris Hudak passed for 19 touchdowns a year ago. Schwank has 18, so that is certainly very much in sight also for him.
We talked about Chad Schwank. How about Joe Fortenbaugh? He is the quarterback for the Parkland Trojans, and he is coming off of one of his finest outings ever. You talk about 300 yards being a milestone for NFL quarterbacks in a game, a day's work, which, by the way, is quite a few minutes more than a high school football game. Well, Fortenbaugh came up with 299 yards passing.
Rightfully so. Both have had tremendous seasons. One will move on to the PIAA tournament as district champ.
Schwank to do everything, man. Kicks off. The ball is handled by the 13-yard line, and Parkland with an opportunity here. A terrific return to the Trojans.
Excellent field position. 33 yards on the return for Blyler.
Great blocking on that kickoff as they open up the middle of the field for Blyler. Here comes Fortenbaugh, a 50% passer with 1,180 yards, as Mike had mentioned. Under center, He hands off to Blyler. Blyler dances his way for a gain of about 7 yards.
One of the things early in this game to watch for is the play, obviously, of the offensive lines. Parkland is healthy up there, and they're excited about it. They did, Blyler rushed for over 100 yards in that loss earlier in the season. Turnovers really played a big difference in that game, and it was 3 unforced turnovers. Whitehall did not have a one in that entire game.
Blyler doing what he does best, has the first down. He whispers through the secondary to the 30, the 20, cuts inside, and he will go all the way. Touchdown, Trojans. Sean Blyler, the real deal, as he gets things underway in dramatic fashion. A beautiful return on the kickoff, and 2 consecutive carries later, Parkland leads the thing.
Not a whole lot of fancy stuff either. They pulled from the left side, number 50, Rick Hillman, a 6-foot junior, but you see big 77, Chris Strzelecki. Hey, there was nothing fancy about that drive. Rich Nizeki likes to, he's going to try that running game first, and if that's going to remain successful, do not look for him to pass it too many times here tonight.
The extra point attempt is up, and it is good as Parkland leads Whitehall 7-0. All that coming within the first 48 seconds of this contest.
Well, and all on the ground, too, Dan, and I think that's the key thing. Bill Whitney is a tackle, Nick Jarecki's the center, Jack Fout a guard, Chris Strzelecki a guard, Rick Hillman, we mentioned, tight end Ben Doble, and that's just getting guys blocked and getting them on the ground, and that's a great start for this Parkland team. 2 plays, both on the ground, both by Blyler. 48-yard touchdown run, the extra point, and Parkland is on top 7-0.
Lightning striking early here at Whitehall High School, where the Zephyrs have been known to do that. And we talked about their prowess, especially in the third quarter. They like to come out of the locker room for a quick strike. A long way from now, and they've got to get something going here early, as they will get their hands on the football for the first time in just a moment. It's John Wiltrout deep for Parkland, wearing number 4, and number 9 is Nick Kurtz.
21st touchdown of the year for Blyler, and the 18th extra point for Knaus, who has become their regular kicker, and it all started from that Whitehall game. He's been their kicker ever since that game.
Knaus lining up to present the kickoff here. Just 48 seconds into the contest. Parkland leads Whitehall 7-0 in this District 11 4A championship final. Knaus aims it towards Wiltrout, who is Mr. Excitement out there, but the ball gets away from him. It's going to stop short of the goal line. Has to pick it up from the 2. And Wiltrout is brought down inside the 15-yard line. They'll mark it at the 13.
Well, and immediately the pressure going to be on the Whitehall offense. And if you could have scripted a worse start, I don't know that you could have thought of it being much worse if you're Tony and his coaching staff. You give up 7. They just run right through you on your defensive series, and now, the ball takes a crazy hop, and now you have poor field position to start your first possession. 7-0 Parkland out in front.
Adam Legath on the tackle. That limited Wiltrout to just 11 yards on the return. First and 10, I should say Whitehall. First and 10 for Whitehall from the 13. Kurtz lined up wide to the right. Bartzak now heads that way. Schwank with receivers, 2 on each side. With time, Schwank lines up, look out, floats it up there, and it's picked off. Parkland will have the ball inside the 5-yard line. Interception made by Anthony Fay, the 5'10", 160-pound junior.
Remember the guys we talked about in the open, Dan, as far as defense and being opportunistic? Anthony Fay, I said Fry in the open, and I apologize because it's Anthony Fay, makes a big play defensively. That is the 19th interception of the year for these guys, and Fay leads the way. That is number 6 on the season. What a great play on that football. Matt Skurbasic, number 83, is the guy who gets pressure on Chad Schwank.
Blyler cuts inside, still on his feet. And Blyler up to the doorstep, but can't punch it in. Parkland will have it now on the 1-yard line. Tremendous play here by Parkland in the first couple of minutes.
they've really come out, and emotionally they are really a charged-up football team. And I think, Tony Coca made a comment during the week, Dan, about, being the Mountain Valley Conference champs and having won the first game. You feel as a coach that the team that lost comes back a little hungrier, and to this point, Parkland is that team.
Weiler not denied as he makes his way into the end zone for the second time tonight. Still within the first 2 minutes of the contest. 142 to be exact, and there's a happy Rich Snizak in his 4th District 11 title games. He's only been at this 7 years. Extra point attempt by Nouse. It is up, and it is good as one of the officials takes a tumble under the uprights. Parkland 14, Whitehall nothing. Whitehall yet to run its second play from scrimmage.
Well, on the flip side of, Tony Coca and his staff looking at the worst possible scenario, for Rich Snizak, you traveled just a short distance over here. This is, these two schools are closely located. You can't, this is as good as it gets as far as starting a game. They have done everything right. Positive kickoff return, 2 plays, touchdown, interception on the first defensive series for you, and a couple more plays during the end zone.
Al DiCarlo has an update for us. Al?
Dan, as expected, some puzzled faces down here on the Whitehall Zephyr sideline, but one thing that Tony Coca said to Chad Schwenk when he came off the field, if you can't find a receiver, throw it out of bounds, throw it into the stands. You can't afford to have an interception. Back to you guys.
And Schwenk is usually good with that, Mike.
Yeah, he is. He's had a tremendous year, Dan, and I think 2 things happening on that play, and one of the things that Coach Snizak and his staff really want to try tonight is to stay in Chad Schwenk's neighborhood. They don't need to sack him, but make sure that there's guys wearing white uniforms around him, and on that play, Matt Skurbasic was that guy. He didn't come up with a sack, but he forced Chad Schwenk into a poorly thrown pass.
And now he's kicking off again. For the second time, this will drive Wiltrout back to his 3-yard line. Wiltrout stutters and goes for the left side, stops again to try to make a cut. And he is brought down at about the 22-yard line. Make it the 21. That's where Parkland or Whitehall will start off this next series as Matt Baber comes up with the tackle.
Michael Yadish, the special teams coach, and of course the guy that worked with us in our Lehigh broadcast, and there has to be some puzzled looks over on that side, but this is an important series. I know it's early in this football game, but boy, Whitehall needs to move the sticks just to establish themselves here tonight.
Quite a different approach there. As last week, remember all those block punts that Whitehall came up with on special teams. Look out, Kurtz driven backwards and slicing his way through the defensive line to make the tackle. It's like number 61 for Parkland. That's Nick Jarecki. Nick Jarecki making the tackle.
Well, this is a fired-up defensive front right now for Parkland. I know the coaching staff over there has challenged them to get into that Whitehall backfield, and they have done it on the first 2 plays. Jarecki is a senior 6'1", 215-pounder, one of few seniors on this Parkland squad that plays a lot of meaningful minutes.
Caesar and Scrappets lined up to the left. On the right side, Edwin Delgado. Schwenk looks to throw, and he fires. Not much happening there as he gets the ball to Scrappets' hands. Might have gained a yard. Matt Krause was all over that play.
Completed pass, but just excellent coverage. Nice job of breaking down Matt Krause coming up. He's a junior. Will also play some wide receiver and wingback offensively.
It looks like we have a penalty marker down during the huddle. Saw number 12 scampering off for Parkland.
A defensive play by Jarecki. 6th time this year he has been able to catch a ball carrier behind the line of scrimmage.
Not quite sure what that was all about. Legath making his way off the field. I see. They were warning the coaches to stay back. Parkland getting an official warning from the officials to stay off the field behind the sideline. Schwenk from the shotgun on 2nd down. Looks and floats one out there. He's got Kurtz. Kurtz comes back for it and cannot hold on to it. Kurtz had to slow down just a little bit, and that allowed Ben Phillips to become part of the play as he breaks it up nicely.
Yeah, I'm not sure Phillips didn't strip that one out of there. We take another look at what a beautifully thrown pass. And that's as good as it gets. That's one I know Nick Kurtz would like to have back, because at this point in the game, that's a play they really could have used, because they have to give up the football again.
That was third down indeed. 4th and 14. Schwank back at his own 4 to punt. Actually, that was Adam Gloss, and it's a nice punt. It'll stop at Parkland's 45-yard line. That's where the Zephyrs will down it. Well, Parkland with some excellent field position nonetheless.
Yeah, and you look at the guys in maroon and gold right now. They need to really get it going. Tony Coco, what a great job he has done here. Mountain Valley Conference champs, defending District 11 champs. There you look at it again. Phillips with some pretty deep. That's a beautifully thrown football right there. That really is. That's laid in there nicely by Chad Swank.
Parkland leading 14-0. A little misdirection play will pick up about 3 yards on the carry. Ball carry that time, Matt Krause, and he is stopped by Eric Lusaritz.
And they'll give Krause his opportunities. 43 carries on the year, 497 yards, has scored 4 touchdowns, and that guy has speed to burn.
2nd and 7 now for the Trojans from their own 49. Hortonboss sets up quickly, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. That might have been Mike Hobel getting a big paw up there to swat that thing out of the sky.
I think it was 67, Phil Poloni. You'll remember a week ago in their win over Bethlehem Catholic. Watch the defensive end.
Yeah.
Phil Poloni and those guys, you mentioned Mike Hobel, and they played a tremendous football game a week ago. Andy Hudak, Phil Poloni, Mike Hobel, and those guys really played well. Billy Hannett. They need to try and get some pressure on the quarterback and come up. They need to get their team back in this game. They need to force 3 and out here against Parkland.
3rd and 7, Massaquoi and Anderson to the left. They go up the middle. Picked off by Bartzak. Mark Bartzak, the fullback for Whitehall. Also the linebacker brings the ball down to the 31-yard line for Whitehall. This is the time when seniors come to the forefront. Bartzak, a 5'9", 190-pounder, one of the captains on this Whitehall Zephyr squad.
Well, and the turnovers continue. There's the 18th interception for this team, and Bartzak coming up with a big play. That's his 2nd INT of the year. None bigger than that. And that is a huge play for this Whitehall team.
Schwank, new set it down to the 31. Here's Kurtz. Kurtz battling his way for the gain of a yard. And he is met quickly by Jack Fott. Fott, a 5'10", 240-pound junior at defensive tackle.
Well, you got to look at those big guys for Parkland right now. They're having their own way in this game. The defensive front for Parkland has just been unmovable at this point. You saw Big Bill Whitney, number 56, taking on the lead blocker and allowing no room to run as they tried to go off tackle.
2nd and 9 for the Zephyrs at the Parkland 30. Late defensive change for the Trojans. Schwank will take it, and he cannot get past his shadow. Staying in there, guarding the quarterback was Bill Heinzelman, who makes the tackle.
Tough to fool, number 22. Billy Heinzelman leads the team in tackles, and this guy just has a nose for the football. He's reading quarterback draw here. I don't know if that was an audible by Schwank. He was giving some kind of signals, and then Parkland maybe took away the outside. But excellent job by Heinzelman of staying at home.
Heinzelman had a touchdown last week. 2-yard plunge from the fullback spot. 3rd and 5 now for the Zephyrs. Schwank fires the gun. Incomplete. He was looking for Scrappitz. And there was contact, but no flag. Ben Phillips with the coverage downfield.
Now you look at that first game, Dan. You know, the Parkland secondary was doing a nice job in coverage. They had a couple of interference calls, and I thought that they made them drop off a step or two. They have started, look at that coverage. That's beautiful. And that's the way they started that game, but because of a couple of calls, I thought they backed off a little bit, and that's all Chad Schwank needs is a little opening in there. But they are back there. That's good coverage.
That was a lot cleaner than I first saw it. Phillips getting in there where he had to be. Scrappitz and Caesar to the left. Schwank looks to the short side. Now goes deep to the sideline looking for Scrappitz, and it's going to be incomplete.
Again, tremendous coverage. I mean, nowhere to go for Chad Schwank. Absolutely nowhere to go. He was trying to go to Scrappitz.
Phillips, 5'9", 155-pound junior, and he is making an impact out there in the defensive secondary.
Fans were looking for a hold here. I thought the ball was thrown. It looked like Scrappitz had stopped. I don't know. I didn't see it, from up here. I thought that Scrappitz had kind of stopped in there, and then Phillips came in to bite on it, and then tried to go upfield. No call on it.
Parkland goes to the ground game. 1st and 10 as they take over the football on their own 27-yard line. And a gain there of about 5 yards. Philip Poloni getting away with that one.
Sean Blyler, one of a good number of juniors on this Parkland roster. A lot of these guys we're talking about are going to be back next year for the Red and Gray. On top here, 14-0. This is the 5th straight year that Parkland has been in the District 11 playoffs.
Oh my.
Nobody in 4A is doing it better.
Hand off to the tailback. And Blyler's progress limited to just a couple of yards that time, as he is met by Andrew Hudak.
Another big 3rd down now for this Whitehall defense. I think they got their game legs a little bit with the offense moving the ball a little bit. The interception by Bartzak, but this defense needs to come up with some stops. That's a great play by Hudak, who's having a tremendous season. Andy Hudak, a senior. And you mentioned seniors, Dan. Now it's time. They look for seniors now to start making plays.
Gain of only 1 brings up 3rd and 4. They stick with what's been working. Blyler gets stacked up right where he needs to be for the 1st down. And this is going to be close. And it is Parkland 1st down. Brian Bowder coming up with the stop.
It appears that Whitehall feels they have something. A good number of their offense. Look at the guys blocking. Look at the guys getting blocked in there. Big 77, Chris Strzelecki, 6 foot, 260.
Handoff this time goes to the fullback. Bowder in there again to make the tackle. Gain of not much, maybe a half a yard. Well, Blyler heads off to the sideline. You can bet he won't be there too long. 2nd and 10. Massaquoi and Anderson. Bookends here on the left side.
9 carries, 75 yards for Blyler already.
They try and end around, and that's going nowhere. Matt Krause runs into some maroon and gold-clad bodies. Andrew Hudak comes up with the tackle.
Yeah, all about Hudak, because it's hard to run misdirection and reverses when the guy on the center gets that kind of penetration, and Hudak is deep into the backfield. Also back there was 42 Brian Bowder. That just disrupts the timing when you're trying to reverse back to the other side.
That goes for a loss of 2 yards. Brings up 3rd and 12 now for the Trojans. Thornton hands off to Blyler. Blyler spun around and brought down at the 42-yard line, and it looks like Parkland will bring out the punting squad. Andrew Hudak again with the tackle. He's getting a workout out there.
He's going to get a big workout if them big guys keep blocking, too. I mean, we've seen that happen. Rich Nizek has handed it tailbacks close to 40 times in games already, and this one's certainly taking on that kind of making good defensive sequence for Whitehall. They're going to give their opportunity or their offense an opportunity.
Weiler back to punt. Wiltrout will be the receiver. Weiler sends it up. Wiltrout at his own 25-yard line. Looks downfield. And he is hit by the first wave that comes at him. Making the tackle there was Brandon Trait and Anthony Fay. So Whitehall will start things off on their own 28-yard line. They trail Parkland 14-0
with 2:56 remaining in this first quarter.
And Dan, that's some great special teams work by Brandon Trait. Big guy, 6'3", another junior, 230. He broke down nicely. Will Trott has really had a great year as a sophomore, and he broke down, and first guy down there makes the tackle. 33-yard punt, 3 yards on the return.
3 receivers on the short side of the field, the right of Chad Schwenk. He fires that way. He's got Scrappitz. Scrappitz trying to follow some downfield blocking and picks up a few yards. Gain of about 3 on the play. Anthony Fay with the tackle.
And look at Tony Coca, Andy Poloni, of course his son, Andy Jr., the guy on the court, making sure that, Dad can talk to the coaches up top. Good tackling, nice technique coming up by Anthony Fay.
No way to get around that guy. Not on that play. From the I formation. Hand off to Kurtz, tries to sneak down low, and nothing happening there. Parkland so far winning the battle at the line on most snaps. Paul Valecki comes up with the tackle.
That's a very good point, Dan. Parkland is definitely, look at it. You're looking for a surge. You're looking for some movement off that line of scrimmage, and it is not happening. Bill Whitney, again, getting off a blocker and getting into that backfield, and then there's help there. Paul Valecki, number 57, he did not play the first time these two teams met.
1:45 and counting remaining in the first quarter. Schwenk on 3rd and 6 gets hauled down behind the line of scrimmage. Jarecki and Skrbasic come up with the sack. Matt Skrbasic, we haven't mentioned yet, a linebacker, 5'8", 180 pounds, senior wearing number 83.
Well, and he's the guy that was in there and forced the first interception. Skrbasic with the sack, his second of the year. And there's 2 ways to play it, Dan. You can try and get pressure on a great quarterback, or you can drop back in coverage. And Parkland appears to be coming hard.
Big hit here. Matt Krause fields it at his own 47-yard line. He's hit immediately by Andrew Hudak. Close with a pretty good punt again, but Parkland with great field position again. They'll have it at their own 47.
32-yard punt, nothing on the return. Parkland has had great field position on every possession. I don't think they've started anywhere inside their 40. They had the one where they took over on downs. And we're about at the 32 or 33.
Pitch out to Blyler. Blyler across the midfield line. You can hear the clap of the shoulder pads as Andrew Hudak comes up to make the stop on the Whitehall side of the 50.
Again, they keep running to the right side. Most of the running plays have been over that way. Look at the surge. See, that's difference. You see that surge, that push. I mean, that surge got Blyler the 4 or 5 yards. And contact isn't made until he's 2-3 yards past that line of scrimmage.
That's how effective those lead blockers have been so far, as the running game has made the difference here for Parkland. Little stutter step action here for Blyler. And on a play that looked to be destined for a loss, he comes up big, picking up about 5 yards there before met by Mark Bartsack. 3rd and 1 coming up for the Trojans.
That's a great job by Blyler to get that thing turned north and south. Look at it, he's going to be... Well, this is a play before, I think. As he gets up close to the first down.
Time runs out here in the first quarter, and it's Parkland with 2 quick strikes leading Whitehall in the District 11 4A championship final, 14-0. Our live coverage continues right after this, so keep it here on TV2 Sports. Parkland off to a rocket-fast start, even faster than the last time these 2 teams met. As you may recall, Parkland led 7-0 after 1 quarter, 13-7 at the break. Whitehall came back with a strong 3rd quarter in that regular season meeting, scoring 21 to win that contest 28-19. But Mike, I'll tell you what, Rich Snizak has got his troops inspired here tonight.
They have definitely played with the most emotion in this first period. As you look at Tony Coca, and I think he's looking up to his coaching staff, and you have to look for some answers. But minus 10 yards of offense in that first quarter. They did not complete a pass, 0 for 5, did not get a first down. Parkland, 2 first downs, 89 yards rushing, 1 for 4 passing with an interception for another 4 yards, 93 yards of offense. But more importantly, Parkland on top on the scoreboard, 14-0.
On 3rd and 1, they keep it in Blyler's hands, and he gets the job done as he gets the first down. New set of downs for the Trojans at the 41 of Whitehall. We have a first quarter score for you in 2A football. Northern Lehigh leads Marion Catholic 6-0. That's a first quarter score.
Northern Lehigh looking for the first ever District 11 crown.
Blyler does a nice job of navigating through the front line. Into the defensive secondary he goes, and finally pulled down at the 20-yard line. Phil Poloni pursuing the play, comes up with the tackle.
Let's go!
Get another look at it. They're pulling from the right side is Strzelecki, and you can see Blyler cuts off that block. Also getting locked in there is Nick Jarecki. It's a lot of the same guys who are getting it done defensively now, and Blyler just does such a great job of setting up those blocks. This is, to fall down 3 scores here, I don't know that you can overcome that. I really think that Whitehall needs to score the next points in this game.
Well, Poloni came a long way to make that tackle. Look out! Right through everybody goes Krause. Touchdown, Trojans. Matt Krause reached 5th gear in a hurry as he just blistered through the line. 847-pound junior speedster. Let's take a look.
Check out the block on the end. That's number 50 who pulled Rick Hillman. Hillman is another junior who's just been starting the last one. Actually, this is his first start. And Hillman just a tremendous job and a nice job by Krause of setting that up. And I'll tell you, Dan, that's, if I'm Tony Koch and the staff, that's a little too easy.
The extra point attempt is up. And it is good. Parkland 3 for 3 on extra points as they lead Whitehall 21-0. Early second quarter.
Well, just to put into perspective the 21 points that Whitehall or that Parkland has scored, get another look at the block here. It's going to be a perfect angle. You see Hillman, and he drives him out of there, and that's what sets up the play. But 21 points is the most points that Whitehall has given up all year in a game, and that happened last week against Becca. Prior to that, nobody reached 20 points, and Parkland has put 21 on the board here, and we are just early going here in the second period.
And it's not too early to start thinking about the mercy rule. You mentioned in the open, Mike Parkland fell victim to that against Central Catholic. They might have something to prove here against Whitehall.
11 minutes to go, second period. 5 plays, 5 on the ground, 53 yards. Krause from 18 yards out, 21-0 Parkland. This is a battle of the last 2 District 11 champs. Of course, Parkland won it in 96. Whitehall, your winner last year in 97.
The score last year, Whitehall 21, Parkland 10. The Trojans winning it the year before by a touchdown, 21-14.
8th touchdown of the year for Matt Krause. 20th extra point now for Canals as they just keep rattling it up.
They have Wiltrout lined up on the near sideline, one of the 2 deep men. Nick Kurtz on the far side of the Whitehall 10. They launch it. It looks like it'll be Krause handling it from the 10-yard line. It's Kurtz, rather. As Kurtz brings the ball up nicely for Whitehall, they'll have it 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Well, and needless to say, as you look at Tony Koch, they need a big play. They need a big series. And not only that, they need production out of this drive. They're in very serious trouble right here. And, I don't know, Dan, that it can come from just one guy. Because they need to block better on the offensive line, and they need to execute a whole lot better up front before Chad Schwank can do anything.
Fay and Baber on the tackle. Schwank from the shotgun immediately. Drops back, has time. Good blocking. Fires deep. He's got Scrappitz. And what a catch by Adam Scrappitz, putting the ball at the Parkland 40-yard line.
Now, and those are the kind of plays that these guys have been making all year long. And if they, I know they've had some great moments here during this unbeaten season, but they need some plays now, and that's a great start. Scrappitz gets inside position on the corner. and see Schwank with time. You give him time, and he will hurt you. So Parkland has come with some blitzes. That time they drop back in coverage, and Schwank takes him apart.
Nice zip on the ball from Schwank, and it's hard to believe he was not a quarterback until the beginning of this year. Look at him dance here with the football on a quarterback run. A gain of about 8 yards on first down.
I think what you're going to see here from this Whitehall offense is what has made them 11-0. It's going to come with attitude. It's going to come with heart. Second, third, and fourth effort from your quarterback, who's a senior and facing the prospects of it being his final game here. Great effort.
He's a gamer.
Schwank on the year, 52 carries.
From the Parkland 33, Schwank changing the call apparently from the shotgun position. Fires a short one, and he's got the first down as he goes to Joel Caesar. Caesar, one of the top receivers in the Mountain Valley Conference this year. Bay on the tackle.
Yeah, Caesar's had a great year. 39 catches, 646 yards, 3 touchdowns. Of course, has played so well defensively. Nice job. Just settles in front of the defense, knows where he needs to get. That is the second first down for the Zaps.
Again from the shotgun, Bartsak into block. Delgado and Kurtz on the left. Caesar and Strappitz on the right. They go deep for the end zone, and Caesar frees himself. Has the football out of Whitehall. Oh, he and Massaquoi were shoulder to shoulder, knees to knees, and somehow Caesar broke free into the end zone.
You just saw exactly why this team is 11-0. That is an impressive drive from these young men. Down 21-0, absolutely needing a score. That's what championship football is all about. It doesn't get much better than that. When you're down that far and you can put together something like that, that's a special thing you just watched. That's why this team's 11-0, Dan. That's why they have been able to win those games, because they make plays. Now, there might have even been some interference there. That's a great catch. That's desire.
How about
absolute
that?
Desire.
Banging it off the face mask and still holding on.
4 plays, 1 on the ground, 3 in the air, 67 yards. Schwank to Caesar from 28 yards out, 21-7. And with that touchdown pass, Chad Schwank has now tied Chris Hudak for the most touchdown passes in a season, both with 19.
Give you an idea of the scoring prowess of this Whitehall squad. That was Chad Schwank's 36th extra point of the year. One of the top scorers in the Mountain Valley Conference this season. So Parkland now faced with a Whitehall team that's starting to climb back. Parkland still leading 21-7.
Tremendous drive, tremendous touchdown for Whitehall. They've scored a lot of big ones this year, but that one that has to rank up, with all of them, because that puts them back in this game. I know they're down 14, but now they have to play some defense.
9:18 remaining in the first half. Schwank swings the leg, sends it to the 12-yard line. Here come the Trojans. And nearly breaking free is Matt Krause. Works his way up to the 35-yard line, and they'll mark it down at the 34. The tackle made there by Adam Glose.
Adam Glose saves a touchdown. We know the speed that Matt Krause has, and he only has Glose to beat. I mean, he's a step or two away from breaking that for a touchdown.
His engines were revving, no doubt about it.
23 yards on the return. Tony Coca has to be feeling a little better about things right now.
Haven't heard from the most prolific receiver this year in the Mountain Valley Conference. Tim Massaquoi is lined up wide left. They pitch it back to Blyler. He follows that route. And he is brought down after a gain of about 2 yards by Eric Clessard.
Whitehall's feeling a whole lot better about themselves. Down 21-0. They come, they get a score. You can see there's a little bit more bounce in your step, even on the defensive side of the football. You look at Strappitz, Clessard, who missed last week's game with a virus. Didn't practice all week, was in uniform. They didn't play him. He did score a touchdown, though, on special teams. Back in there tonight.
Weiler, penalty marker, as he breaks into the secondary. And the marker came early in his run. Tackle made by Scrappitz.
Have to believe that's going to be some kind of a hold, or we'll wait for the call.
Tony Coca already knows it's against Parkland as he points that way. Trying to influence the officials, perhaps. Oh, they're going to wave the flag off. No penalty.
Well, so that run will stand, and it'll move Parkland within a yard of a first down.
Got to play for a whistle.
The dreaded inadvertent flag.
Third and about a yard and a half for Parkland. The ball on their own 43-yard line. This is the time you look for Sean Blyler. Blyler dots the I, has the ball, has the first down, has 5 more yards, and he's working the sideline. Still on his feet, brought down at about the 23. Tremendous effort by Sean Blyler.
You know, when you have a third and short situation out at about midfield and you go into that goal line and you bring a lot of people up, they've been doing a lot of damage to the right. Look at a block by Trait, the big fullback doing a good job, and then it's a lot about Blyler. Nice stiff arm. See, for you younger backs, the football is in the proper hand. It's in the left hand, so he could get it. You know, that stiff arm is what makes, you know, the big play. He had the first down, but the stiff arm makes it a big play. 17 carries, 160 yards for Blyler.
Parkland continues to drive it on the ground as they pick up 3 yards there. Well, when Snizak was in the shootout with Nazareth a week ago, he went to Tim Massaquoi and they had the air attack working. But right now, no reason to change as the ground attack has been making it happen out there for the Trojans. Weiler again. And he is stacked up this time at the 15-yard line.
You might see a little number 88 right now. Massaquoi, they haven't even tried to throw his way, as you mentioned. You might see him right now because what you have, you know, Massaquoi, and he's only a sophomore. I laughed. The statistics in some of the papers had him as a senior. You know, and I'm
easy
sure
to confuse.
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches would wish this guy was a senior and getting out of here, but he's going to be in town for another 2 years, and this guy definitely a Division I prospect. He's coming wide to your right.
From the 19-yard line, I stand corrected there. 3rd and 6. Massaquoi on the right, Toomey on the left, and this play is going to be blown dead. Penetrating nicely there for the Whitehall defense to stop the play was Mike Scrappitz.
Don't know if there was too much time there or what, but they blew the whistle awful quick.
I think we're going to have to keep this penalty.
Has to be delay.
Dead ball foul against the Zephyrs.
Mental mistakes will kill you, especially when you're down 14. I mean, that turns this thing now into, I mean, you have 3rd and a yard, and I'm sure if you're Rich Nizek, you're thinking, heck, I have 2 downs to make that yard. It's a long yard. But still, now you have just 2 downs. He was going to run it from, 3rd and 7. Probably certainly run it from 3rd and 2.
The offsides makes it 3rd and 2 for the 15. Blyler has the first down. And now, depending on the mark, Parkland will be 1st and goal or 1st and 10.
Now, the blocking scheme just, so good right now for Parkland. John Marcanti, who missed last year because of back surgery, has to be real pleased with what this offensive line is doing. Jeannie Legath also works with the offensive line. John Tolman, these guys are really doing a good job.
1st and goal from the 10-yard line, and it is Blyler. To make his way into the end zone once again if he can. Devin Madonna gets in the way that time.
Rest of the assistants at Parkland: Tara Haddad, Gene Legath, Mike Litzenberger, Ted Center, John Toman, Scott Cooperman, Marcanti, Meisenhelter, Lon, Josh Seacotch, Barry Search, Bob Steckel take care of the JVs and freshmen. Jim Haynes and Dan Lewis also on the Parkland coaching staff.
2nd and goal, hand off to Kraus. Look at him, quick move. Oh, the speed will kill you. Touchdown, Trojans. Now the corridor not nearly as wide as it was when Krause blistered through to pick up the third touchdown for Parkland.
Time was the whole key to that play. You'll see on the replay how beautifully that was timed, where Krause, it looks like the defender can just reach out and make the play, but Krause cuts it off the pulling block.
Extra point attempt is up, and this one is going to be good. It was touched, but it made its way on through.
Take a look at it. The defense is right there, but that pulling block right there, I couldn't get the full number. I don't know if that was Hillman or Bill Whitney. It was a number in the 50s. Get another look at it from a defensive perspective. You'll see how Krause just cuts that thing right off that pulling. And it was Bill Hillman. The pulling tackle pulls from the left side. Parkland moves it right down the field, back up 21 points. 8 plays, all 8 of them on the ground. No need to even, heck, you and I are up here talking about Tim Massacre. I think Rich Nizek's forgotten about him. 8 plays, all on the ground, 66 yards. Krause from 8 yards out. 28-7 Parkland.
Well, Parkland's kind of enjoying another high-powered affair as they had last week. They beat Nazareth only by 10 points in a game that saw 84 points on the scoreboard. Final score 47-37 in favor of Parkland.
Again, to put this in perspective, Dan, Bethlehem Catholic last week with 21 points was the most this Whitehall defense has given up all year for an entire game. Nazareth 17 the week before, 13 Northampton, 14 Easton, 18 Freedom. Parkland scored 19 the first time they met. Liberty 7. Nazareth 13 shutouts against Pocono Mountain and East Stroudsburg, and Central Catholic scored 13 in the first game of the year.
Wiltrout on the near side, Kurtz on the far side. Those are the deep men for Whitehall. 5:28 remaining in the first half. 28-7. Parkland, believe it. Ball is juggled, finally picked up, and Kurtz stays on his feet after a big hit. Finally brought down right at the 20-yard line.
Problem right now for Whitehall is they did a real nice job on their last drive is they cannot afford to exchange touchdowns at this point. They do need to get something going here on offense first.
Looks like Kurtz got hit, and it was almost like a knockout punch, a delayed reaction. Either that or he slipped on some mud out there after the initial wave hit him. Either way, Whitehall will have the ball 1st and 10, and they marked it down at the 21-yard line. Kurtz and Delgado, the receivers, to the near side. Schwank looks the other way to Caesar and Scrappitz fires it. Tipped up, and it is picked off by Toomey. Toomey Anderson with the pick at the 20-yard line. And there is a penalty marker down. Hold everything.
Toomey Anderson on the interception for Parkland.
Where that flag is thrown, it has to be interference. I mean, it's coming from well back. Anderson with an acrobatic play. Anderson had a big week last week, and one of those interceptions, but I think this one's going to be taken away.
Yes, it is. So erase the INT. Whitehall gets a break here. And it'll be a first down for the Zephyrs as they'll mark it down at the 35-yard line.
Trojans with 1 pick already here tonight, and the Parkland coaching staff is livid over that one getting taken away.
We can kind of tell that from down here. Coach is making a little bit of a racket upstairs. And in high school ball, the interference call is 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. That's where they go. Schwank starts out. Tipped up, and this one is picked off. Picked off by Parkland, Bill Einzelman.
This is going to be a mercy rule.
I believe that's his second pickoff. How about that?
Well, they're not going to take this one away as this one going in and out of the arms of the intended receiver. Checking for Heinzelman as far as interceptions. That might be his first of the year, and it is. Little bit high, but Heinzelman was in position, and that coverage was a step within Nick Kurtz. 20th interception of the year for this Parkland secondary.
What a finish to that interception as Heinzelman sends bodies flying. Look at Blyler. Speaking of a flying body, as he makes his way down to the 25-yard line, dragging would-be tackler Nick Kurtz. Kurtz finally gets him down.
No, it's quite an effort by number 24. You know, and this is what happens when you don't get a clean shot at a guy. Kurtz is only able, I mean, I can't look at that. And that's what football's all about. I mean, you got to hang on for dear life. Kurtz, again, the good use of the stiff arm by Blyler. That was a great shot, guys. But you could see how Blyler was able to keep Kurtz away from his legs by the use of that stiff arm.
Not much happening up the middle that time as Devin Madonna comes in to make the stop. Brings up 2nd and 2 from the 25. And an official timeout is called. Close enough for a reading, I guess. I'm reading the old yardage. And that's going to be a first down for Parkland.
Yeah, Billy stands corrected. He said, okay, I was wrong. Boy, you'll give a little rub down. It's all right, Billy. We'll let you slide with that one.
Oh, a lot of interest in this contest, Mike. Saw some head coaches from around the Lehigh Valley out there. Steve Shifford is in the house, Easton Red Rover head coach. Taking a look at how this Mountain Valley Conference moves on into a District 11 championship. Play action, look out, a handoff and around, and Krause nearly breaks through again. He crosses the 20 and is brought down at about the 18-yard line by Brian Bowder.
Well, and the game has taken on an entire Parkland kind of look. I don't know that Whitehall has tried many rushes here, except for the quarterback draws by Chad Schwank, and Parkland wants to grind it out. They want to move it. That ball came out, but after Krause was on the ground.
That Whitehall offense is getting edgy on the sideline. That's where they spent most of this first half. Krause on the move. Pitch out to Blyler. Blyler with a nice cut. Turns it outside. Still on his feet. Oh! Sean Blyler to the 10-yard line.
That is a tremendous effort over on the left side of that line. When you look at this, you're going to see 3 or 4 guys are locked on to Whitehall defenders, and they sustain those blocks. There's one, 77, Strzelecki gets a guy on the ground. There's another on the outside. I mean, that's a great job by those people on that left side of getting locked onto people and sustaining blocks.
First and goal for Parkland. From just inside the 10-yard line, here comes Krause, the end around. He can fly. Oh, nearly turns the corner, but he is pulled out of bounds by Kurtz. Kurtz with a little extracurricular there on the outside, did not get called for it. Parkland with the football at the 1-yard line.
No, that's a good job by Kurtz, because this Krause just about gets there, and it wasn't that well blocked. Klosaritz is in the backfield, and I mean they're stringing this thing out. Bowder is there, and Krause with that great speed still almost gets that into the end zone. Kurtz has a little giddy up going on himself there, and Whitehall, they're not going to take this thing sitting down.
From the 2-yard line, Sean Blyler into the end zone for another Parkland touchdown, his 3rd of the night. Parkland is just racking it up here in the first half.
Well, and it's a dominating performance. There's not much else you can say. 25 carries, 190 yards.
Oh, my.
For Sean Blyler, we still have time to go here in the first half.
Extra point attempt. Is up, and it is no good this time. So maybe a pause in the attempt to reach the mercy rule here in the first half. Parkland leading 34-7, and the time remaining 2 minutes exactly.
Well, now if you're Rich Snizak, and you know the explosiveness of this Whitehall offense, you are starting to think about that over on the side. You're starting to think, because there's no question, Whitehall has really come out of the locker room. The last 3 games we've seen them, they've scored on their first possession each and every time. So they make good adjustments at halftime. And certainly if you're Parkland, you want to try and, again, of course, the mercy rule is any team that gets up 35 points or more after halftime, the clock continues to run, and that is obviously becomes a part of the the thinking here. If you're Parkland, put this team away as soon as you can.
Well, they'll need a field goal now to get that accomplished, an unanswered field goal.
6 plays, all on the ground again, 34 yards. Blyler from 2 yards out, 34-7 Parkland.
And the silence here is deafening.
That after the interception by Blyler. Our offenses look good for Parkland, but their defense is doing a great job here in the first half also.
Well, Parkland will squib this one. It's picked up finally at the 20-yard line. And the Trojans with a huge hit there to send the carrier back. They tried to squirt the ball back out to Wiltrout. Bill Heinzelman comes up with the tackle. Let's go to Al DiCarlo from the sidelines. Al?
All right, Dan, that Parkland sideline, obviously you can see they're very pleased, and the coaching staff is complimenting their offensive line right now. They're doing very good opening up the holes for Krause and Blyler, but basically what Parkland's doing right now is running the ball, and they're going to continue to do it. You see the coaching staff continue to say the same thing. Keep it up 4 quarters. This game is not over by no means. Back to you guys.
All right, Al, thanks for that. Parkland goes to Schwank in the shotgun position. Whitehall, that is. Schwank looks, has time, has to hoof it now. Hot pursuit by Heinzelman as he's brought down hard at the 38-yard line. Boy, Heinzelman can turn on the Jets.
That's just great coverage in that Trojan secondary. The Trojans came with just the 4 down linemen, and Schwank had nowhere to go with it. They got locked on in that secondary and did not allow an open receiver. Matt Secoy now in playing defense, number 88.
Gain of 4 for Schwank on the scramble. Delgado, the receiver, to the near side. He goes the other way. The outlet man is Kurtz. Kurtz with the first down as he hoofs it out of bounds to stop the clock. 1:04 remaining in the first half. Toomey Anderson gets him out there.
It's been that kind of night for number 10. You see that turf and his face mask. They've gotten good pressure on him. They're now sitting in that prevent. Parkland will give up underneath yardage. I think nice job there by Kurtz of adding on a little bit extra more yardage than what I think Parkland would like to allow. 5th first down for the Zaps.
Schwank letting him run deep routes, fires over the middle. Sees it with a great grab in front of Anderson, who comes back to make the tackle. First down for the Zephyrs, and it looks like head coach Tony Coco will burn a timeout here, and that'll stop the play, stop the clock. It looks like there might be 46 seconds remaining. The clock is erroneously reading 5:46.
What a great catch by Caesar. He comes and makes a play on that football. Tries to get a little extra yardage at Toomey Anderson. Toomey Anderson will turn in those football cleats for basketball sneakers. But they'd like to make it go at least another yard or another week. Let's listen into the Whitehall huddle.
I'll give you 15. You're going to be dragging. You will be dragging. You got to call. I'm going to be over. Same pattern, 16 boots. Same as 16 boots. Second guy can jump on Nick.
What a great job that coaching staff has done. Stan Luckenbill, Rich Drula, Mike Yadish, Andy Millen, who you saw in that huddle. The brother to Matt Millen, Bob Hartman, Steve Piston, Bob Panny, Andy Poloni, Billy Fonzone. Of course, Tony Coca, the head guy. And what a tremendous job these guys have done with this football team. As the Mountain Valley Conference champs back in a position here to try and repeat as District 11 4A champs. That hasn't happened since Easton won back-to-back in 90 and 91.
Schwank stands tall in the pocket, fires the ball into Adam Scrappitz. Scrappitz down at the 36-yard line, not a first down. And timeout called by Whitehall.
Again, Schwank is going to get hit. 76 zeroing in is Jack Fout, and they have done a good job. And that's what they wanted to do. And you see two guys actually got a hit on Chad Schwank that time. He pays the price. Also in there was 56 Bill Whitney.
Well, that timeout will stop the clock with 39.8 seconds remaining in this first half. Whitehall, a pretty good effort at the 2-minute offense throughout the season. And they haven't really had to use it a whole lot, Mike. But, of course, when you go from the shotgun all that much, they're pretty well battle ready for these conditions.
I mentioned the assistant coaches, and, that's one of the reasons that these two programs have been as solid as they are over the last 5-6 years. And, it's coaching staffs that have stayed together, and that breeds consistency.
Well, apparently there's a discrepancy with the clock. They're going to add some time. Maybe the clock was not stopped in a timely fashion during that timeout. Here's some of the banter going on up here as we're maybe 3 seats away from the timekeeper.
Well, of course, with Chad Schwank, and if you're Whitehall, you can also be thinking a three-pointer here. They desperately need 7 more, no doubt about it.
And Schwank would be the man to try the three-point attempt.
Yeah, he's had a great year kicking the football, but, keep in mind that, they'll get the football to start the second half. So it is an opportunity. If they're going to get in it, you'd have to think now, if they can cash in, and that's 45 seconds. That's 45.0, not 450 on that. They keep tenths of a second on the scoreboards now when it winds down under a minute.
2nd and 1 for the Zephyrs. Schwank has a rush, has to get rid of it as he's plastered, and it's going to be picked off by Parkland. How about that? Tomei Anderson comes up with the INT.
Well, and again, it's pressure on the quarterback. It's a great job of getting rid of the football, and they're in a position where they need to do that. You have to force. But look at the pressure that comes on Chad Schwank. I give him credit. Billy Heinzelman, number 22, leading the way there, and that's just blanket coverage. That's a great job by Tomei Anderson. There you see Heinzelman just unloading on Chad Schwank. And that's been happening most of the first half, but nice job in that secondary. Anderson had an interception taken away earlier, but not this one.
38.1 seconds. Parkland's got to get out of the shadow of the goalpost there. Oh, boy, just gets the whole 98 yards taken care of. Stopped in the secondary.
And this will be a little interesting here, too. I'm sure that Parkland will play it real safe, and, they've run it the whole first half, but you have a guy like Krause. I wouldn't be surprised to see Rich Snizek try it right now. The Whitehall defense has been on the field most of this first half. Well, they're going to let it run out and take it into the locker room.
Bowder gets the final tackle to end this first half. We understand that because of the field conditions, well, now the bands are starting to make a move, so maybe they will take the field. We'll have the update for you. And if we have a halftime show, Boyd Ewell will be taking you through it. So stick around. Our live coverage continues here from Whitehall High School. The District 11 Class 4A Championship Final has Parkland leading Whitehall 34-7. Back for more live coverage right after this on TV2. Has fallen over the Whitehall High School football field, so much so you might think this is a District 11 tennis championship. But there are the numbers. Parkland serving and volleying its way to a 34-7 lead, believe it, at the break. They led 14-0 after one as we take a look at that first half. Dan Mowdy with sports director Mike Zambelli, and we'll be hearing from Al DiCarlo a little bit later on from the sideline. Mike, what an amazing turnaround from the first time these two teams met.
Yeah, and for you Whitehall fans, if you thought that the statistic of the game at 34-7 looked bad, these are just as bad. I mean, they did do a good job, and Chad Schwank, this guy's really had a great year, but the 3 interceptions, and, we talked about interceptions at the beginning of the game, and both teams do a great job in that. Whitehall, with good coverage in that secondary, plus doing a nice job. The up-front people need to be commended, getting pressure on Schwank. 3 interceptions, but he still completed 8 of 14 for 99 yards, but it has been their only offense. They have just 1 yard rushing and haven't really even looked to run the football. Parkland, on the other hand, as advertised, the exact opposite. Have only attempted 2 passes, and 1 was interception. And quite frankly, I was really surprised that they even tried to throw a football the way they were running it in that first half. Tremendous first half of football. 236 yards, 9 first downs. That's all their offense. Sean Blyler, 25 carries, 194 yards. And we're just getting ready to start the second half. Whitehall individually, Schwank 4 carries, 5 yards. That was it. Receiving scrap, it's 4 for 39. And Caesar 3 for 50. With those 4 receptions, Scrappett's now the new single-season leader in that category with 49. There you see how it all started. Sean Blyler, I mean, they came out, ran 2 plays, and were in the end zone, and then they turned and played defense, and there's those turnovers. Joey Fay, it was Skrbasic who got pressure on Schwank, and Joey Fay stepped in front, took it right down to the 1, and it was, easy pickings from there.
2 quick strikes within the first 2 minutes of the contest. Parkland up 14-0.
And here you see, Blyler, they blocked well for him, but, this guy really good, hard, north and south running. There you see the great blocking. I believe that was the one by Rick Hillman, a junior, getting the start here tonight. Excellent job, and Kraus was also real effective on that counter, Fay. And, this was a big play. This made it. This was the drive, as you see Scrappets, who, as I mentioned, now is the single-season reception leader with 49. But this was the drive where it looked like maybe Whitehall could get back into this game. It was 21-7, but they just have not had an answer for that big offensive line, and they have just pushed the defense around, and they have run the football at will here in the first half.
Kraus getting his second marker there in the second quarter, and they weren't done yet.
Well, and defensively, again, just excellent coverage by Heinzelman. First interception for him, and that was right after they took an interception away on a questionable interference call. And then it was more of Blyler, who is, it's just simply been all Parkland. More desire and obviously more points on the board.
3 touchdowns for Blyler, 2 for Kraus. Let's go to Al DiCarlo on the sideline. Al, what do you have for us?
All right, Dan, obviously a game of football is played with 2 halves, and it's 34-7 now. I talked to Tony Koch at the half, and I said, hey, thoughts of the first half? He said they played better football. They wanted it more in the first half, but there's still 2 halves to play. As for head coach Rich Snizak, I said, thoughts of the first half? He said, Al, no thoughts. He knows this game is not over yet. Back to you guys.
I think Snizak likes not even to think about what happened in the first half, electing perhaps, Mike, to take a look and concentrate on this second half of play.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how quickly Parkland goes for the knockout punch, because obviously that mercy rule is, well in their range. 34-7. You look at a diving catch made by Caesar there for the touchdown, or you'd be there. You got a miss extra point and that one drive by Whitehall. So Whitehall's going to get the football, as we mentioned, against Northampton. It took them a play. They were in the end zone against Nazareth the week after. Same thing to start the third quarter. And last week, while it took them a little longer against Bethlehem Catholic, they drove right down the field and put points on the board. And boy, do they need that here tonight if they're going to have any shot at making this a football game.
Several weeks in a row, as you mentioned, they've been able to do that right at the start of the third quarter.
Yeah, if they go 3 and out here or give up the football, Parkland is going to, have the opportunity, to put this thing away. I don't think he can come back on that mercy rule with, the clock continuing to run.
Haven't seen it done yet, that's for sure. Parkland 3 points away from installing the mercy rule. Whitehall will have something to say about it first, however. The ball is booted down the middle of the field. Kurtz will take it at his own 10-yard line. Here he comes to the right side, and he gets through the way. Still on his feet. We have a penalty marker down the midfield. Kurtz punching it into enemy territory. and finally driven out of bounds at about the 47-yard line by Anthony Fay. But we do have a penalty marker down.
And I'm pretty sure that's against Whitehall. And boy, what a real negative or a real bummer to take away from a great effort from Nick Kurtz. I'll tell you another thing to look for. I certainly do not look for Whitehall to go away easy in this game. You know, they really got the worst of the first half, and they really need to start playing better up front. But boy, this is a poor start to the second half. You get a great return, and it's negated on a hold.
And that hold coming rather late in Kurtz's jaunt. Hurts especially.
Need to correct your math a little bit, Daniel. They need 8 to invoke that
8
mercy
points.
rule. Yeah,
you're right.
It's 35. So, you know, if Parkland somehow scores the first touchdown, it'll be interesting to see if they go for 2 points.
Good point. Chances are Rich Nizak will go for that.
I would. Hey, you know, you have an opportunity to put a team away and, you know, and run that clock. I would.
Delgado wide to the left. 3 receivers on the short side of the field. Schwank stands back, rears back to the 10, and man, Delgado. And Delgado with a huge play. Picks up the Whitehall first down at the 40-yard line. It's his first action of this contest. Ben Phillips on the tackle.
Well, they throw that one into double coverage. The defender's actually turned. Watch, I think you're going to see the one defender. See, yeah, his back is turned, doesn't see where the ball is. Heck of a completion. Nice job by Schwank and a good positive play to start the third quarter for Whitehall.
Edwin Delgado, the go-to guy for Chad Schwank early in the season as Scrappitz and Caesar came along, and now you've got a triple threat out there.
Delgado's 23rd reception of the year, has 3 touchdowns.
Schwank steps back and a penalty marker flies to end this play before it can begin fully. Well, one of the knocks against Whitehall coming into the contest, 11-0, it's hard to knock a team, but the running game just has not been there this year. As we saw, they had only 1 yard rushing in that first half. And this penalty is going to be against Parkland.
Well, they never really had an opportunity to even think about running the football tonight. I don't know that Nick Kurtz has a carry. 2 or 3, okay, 3 carries maybe in the first half. Nick Kurtz is a guy I think that needs to be involved offensively for Whitehall to be successful.
Delgado again to the near side. Traditional set now for Schwank under center. Bartsack in motion. Trouble with the snap. Kurtz not there for the handoff, and Schwank is pulled down at the 30-yard line.
There's a guy that did not play the first time these two clubs met, and he makes a big difference. Paul Valecki, a junior, 5'10", 187.
Negative 14 yards on that play, thanks to Valecki.
No, it's just, you know, it's just good defensive football. He gets off a block, and he has good quickness once he gets into that backfield, and a nice job in that secondary of not allowing Schwank any looks at an open receiver.
Scrappitz to the right, Caesar wide to the right. Bartsack in to block. Kurtz is also on the right. Schwank looks to the right and fires. Incomplete.
Rain has subsided. It has stopped. The umbrellas are put away, but it's turned into a very damp night, or a very cold night, I want to say, and the field obviously wet, and Caesar couldn't get it, you know, turned back to come back to meet the football. Valecki on that previous play, his 5th sack of the year, and again he missed a couple of games. Without the team coming in with 5, Baber also with 4 coming in.
3rd and 24 for the Zephyrs, and that streak of scoring on their first possession in the second half is in jeopardy. Schwank has time, floats it over the middle, intercepted! And Weiler brings it down to the 42-yard line of Whitehall. They'll mark it at the 41.
Second interception of the year for Blyler, and 22nd of the year for this defense. Blyler, at the beginning of the year, was a starter defensively. You'll recall that Parkland was actually using two guys at the tailback. Ted Heaps was the starter there, and Blyler was actually a starter defensively. Ted Heaps is lost to the year. He suffered a second concussion. We saw that first one in their loss to Central, but then he suffered a second one and is gone for the year.
And Blyler back at it again. On consecutive plays. One as a defensive linebacker. Here he picks up a couple of yards carrying the football. Now gain of 4 on that carry as he's met by Adam Scrappitz.
Check out the blind. Look at that job on the end. They double team the end that time. Hillman was one of the guys. I mean, they're driving that end, some 5 yards off that line of scrimmage. Great blocking scheme here tonight for Whitehall.
Krause in motion. They like the end around. They fake it this time. Fortenbaugh with some running room. And he twists and turns over the 30-yard line. That'll be a first down for Parkland. Nick Kurtz comes up to make the tackle.
Oh, it's just a different ball carrier, but the same kind of blocking. They pull 2 guys from the left side and again get a great double team. See, they fake it. That's the same as giving it to Krause, but with not as much speed. But the 2 guys pulling from the left side open up a great hole.
Joe Fortenbaugh with the golden arm. Hasn't used it much here tonight. Getting the job done there with the winged feet. Loose football. Fortenbaugh forced to run this one. Supposed to be an option play as he brings the ball up to the 25. Not a bad scramble under those conditions. Madonna makes the tackle.
Another look at it. Quarterback just didn't get it there. Looked like it would to be a pretty good snap, and boy, there was another big hole over there. Fortenbaugh does the right thing, though. Make sure he has the football and just, he actually picked up 3 yards in that play.
Last week he had touchdown passes of 83, 56, 17, and 3 yards. Different story here tonight as Parkland gets diversity. Blyler with the football, met by Scrappitz, and we have a penalty marker down at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Parkland backfield, a little bit quick on there. There you go. Motion, a little bit quick. Cost them 5 yards. 34-7, Parkland. There are a lot of shocked people in this stadium here tonight.
That'll make it 2nd and 13 for the Trojans.
Zep's 11-0, unbeaten, Mountain Valley Conference champs. Parkland 9-2, just 2 losses on the year. One where they were mercy ruled against Central Catholic, and of course the regular season loss to the Zep's.
From the 30-yard line, and around for Krause. Krause gets past one tackler. Look out as they try to grade him through the chain link fence. Kurtz and Scrappitz extending the tackle. No flag on the play.
And another look at it. This is a great job by Krause because they have some people in defensive position. He pulls out of a tackle there and then is just run right out of bounds.
It's like pro wrestling.
Don't need that stuff. Don't need that stuff. I think the penalty marker down on the play going to be holding against Parkland. Is that the call?
That's what we got. Frank D'Angelo with the call.
You want me out of here now?
So Whitehall gets a break there. Bartzak, you see, getting the defensive signal, number 44 in maroon and gold. Krause heads to the sideline for Parkland. He's replaced by Brandon Trait. Well, Trait stands at fullback. Oh, quick pass out to Massaquoi. And the sophomore receiver with his first action on offense picks up about 4 yards on the reception, met by Mark Bartzak.
Yeah, sitting here looking at the offensive set, and I'm thinking of the points this team has on the board, and I looked at 88, and I'm thinking they didn't even try to throw him the ball yet. Well, they do here. They just try to isolate. Number 83 is Skrbasic trying to come out and trying to get a block on somebody. Pretty good reaction defensively for Whitehall. That's the first completed pass of the night for Parkland.
Fortenbaugh 1 for 3. Now he goes long this time, and it's going to be incomplete as the receiver had slipped and fallen at the 10. Joel Caesar, the nearest man to where the ball hits the ground for Whitehall. Now that'll bring up 4th and long for Parkland. 4th and 18 from the 36. And they will go for it here with not much to lose. Again, Parkland getting the job done early here against Whitehall, leading 34-7.
Now they're going to punt it away here.
Well, they will punt.
Yeah, smart play. You got to play field position here.
Look out. Whitehall with some success blocking punts last week. Almost gets this one. It sails out of bounds early.
Yeah, give that guy a cigar. That's a heck of a catch. Parkland's side erupted when he made that catch over there.
Let's take another look.
Trying to angle that one for the sidelines. And we got it right on instant replay. Yeah, never a doubt. Sign that guy up.
There's a lucky fan.
Maybe he plays for the Steelers. Maybe he's not just wearing that jacket. 13-yard punt.
Whitehall's football. Schwank rears back to his 10. Flares it out for Bartzak. All kinds of room for the fullback as he cuts inside. Look at him go to the midfield line. Finally pulled down from the back of his shirt. And Kraus manhandles him down, but Bartzak with a tremendous reception and a great gain after the catch. Parkland's territory at the 42.
Great call by the Whitehall offensive staff. The misdirection, and they just screen it. Parkland coming so hard to get pressure on Schwank, and Bartzak is all alone. That is the first time he's touched the ball tonight on offense, and just his 5th catch of the year. Longest reception, 15 yards. This one by far his best effort receiving of the season.
Schwank looks 20 yards downfield. Look out! Tipped up, incomplete. Intended receiver was Joel Caesar, who touched the football right where he had to be for a first down. Incomplete the call.
If there has been a problem that Schwank has had, and it's more so in warm-ups, he tries to throw. Look at the rope that is on it, and that is a bullet. That thing, hardly lost. There was hardly any trajectory on that. It was just a flat line, and that thing was really humming in there, and Caesar couldn't control it.
Almost catch that one inside the face mask. It had that much zip on it. 3 receivers to the right of Schwank. He looks, it fires deep, way downfield, and he outguns everybody. An exciting passing offense we've seen all year long from Whitehall. One of the few high school teams you'll see with way more yardage passing than running. Incomplete to Scrappitz that
Again,
time.
great coverage, and a pretty good job by that offensive line that time. Chris Strzelecki was getting close to Chad Schwank on that one, but this is beautiful coverage. And just great coverage, Skrbasic. Stride for stride. You might get beat sometimes when you cover like that, but it has to be a perfectly thrown football.
Bartzak and Kurtz in the backfield with Schwank. 3rd and 10. Schwank fires quickly. Delgado with a great incomplete. Looked like he might have had that one at the 30-yard line. And now Whitehall with a decision here on 4th and 10 from the Parkland 42.
Well, and again, a tremendous rush and more than one guy. Chad Schwank, this is a credit to him. They have a jailbreak there. Vlecki is going to get a hit on him, but there were other guys that were getting real close to Chad Schwank.
Super defensive job there by Matt Kraus to knock the ball out of Delgado's hands. 4th and 10, they've got to go for it. Down 34-7. Schwank in trouble, penalty marker down, and so is Schwank as he somehow, look at that, to Bartzak. And Bartzak will be stopped about 5 yards shy of the first down marker. That was a shot put.
That's something else. I don't know what the marker's going to be. We're going to wait and see, but I'll tell you what, number 10 gives you an effort there. That's going to be hold against Whitehall, so that one will be declined as Parkland will take over. That's a great effort by Schwank. Things are slipping away here from this team, and it has been a magical season for them.
Like a rugby line out there, the way he presented that football.
I don't know how he got rid of that. He had 2 or 3 white jerseys hanging on him. That'll be declined. Parkland will take over on downs. Another look.
Wrapped up good there, yeah.
35 is Matt Baber. 76 coming in is Jack Fountain. He still has the whereabouts to dump it off the Bartsack, but well short of a first down.
Parkland takes over at the 37. Massaquoi lines up wide to the right. And off to Blyler. And the football is not heavy, as Rich Nizak will have you know. Might be getting lighter for that young man as he continues to rumble. Picks up 4 yards on the carry. Tackle made by Adam Scrappitz.
You get a look at the running room. Look at that. That's a nice. That's all the offensive line. They pushed the defensive front 3 yards downfield for Blyler. And you give him that kind of a head of speed. Hard to play defense, when you're backpedaling like that.
Kraus lines up as a receiver, but here's Blyler. Blyler to the midfield line, still going, and he's still on. Look at that. Sean Blyler. He must have been turned around 3 or 4 times. It's amazing he knew which direction to go in.
It's a combination of a couple of things. I mean, it's so difficult. Whitehall has been on the field so long, and they have really been punished. I mean, that offensive line, again, look at a great trap block. He's turning and looking for more. That's Jack Fout. But this is a tremendous effort by Blyler, and you have to believe there's some fatigue right now for the maroon and gold. I mean, it's a great effort by Blyler. Look at him hang on to that football. I mean, that's 20 yards after your first contact. 28 yards on the carry. 28 carries, 231 yards for Sean Blyler.
Kraus follows a beautiful block. Big time by Kurtz. Kurtz putting a hurting on that time. Kraus able to pick up some good positive yardage there. He gains 5 yards to bring the ball inside the 25.
6 on the play.
Another look at it. The counter worked very well last week against Nazareth. Trying to get out in front as Fout gets enough of his guy. Nice open field tackle by Nick Kurtz.
Frederick Kraus with 6 yards on the carry. 2nd and 4 from the 23-yard line. Blyler continues to get back. He is finally tripped up at the 5-yard line. Touchdown saving ankle grab by Kurtz.
Now, I'm not sure what the single game rushing mark is for Parkland, but I think you really got to start thinking about it, unless, of course, they get in here and tack on a deuce to invoke that mercy rule. I know Ira Van Syak that one night carried it 39 times. I think he got over 300 yards that night, darn near close to it. But if 24 gets enough carries tonight, he's well on his way. He refuses to go down. This is a guy that was sharing time at the tailback spot at the beginning of the year.
Inside, there comes Blyler. He finds another Parkland touchdown.
Well, and now I think you have to go for 2. They need 2. Yeah, they're telling the offense to stay right where you are, because if they get a 2-pointer here, the mercy rule goes into effect and the clock will continue to run for the rest of the game.
And
Timeouts, injuries, and change of possessions will be the only things to stop the clock.
And in a way, Mike, despite all the explosiveness we've seen from Parkland, this turns out to be the most important play so far. It will change the complexion of this contest if they score 2. Hornbach finds a man that is caught for 2 points. And the mercy rule is in effect. I believe that was Sean Blyler on the reception.
A pass into the end zone for a 2-point conversion. So the score is
3:32 is the time on the clock.
You can mail it in. That's your district champ right there. You can't come back 42-7, down 35. You can't come back from a game like this. 3 minutes to go, 3rd period. This thing is going to be over within the next 20 minutes. That clock's going to start running. It'll stop at the end of the 3rd period. This has been a workmanlike show by that guy's team. I think you have to give a lot of credit.
under 42's Pat.
And there's a lot to be said, Dan, by, I think what you saw here is losing the regular season meeting, and many felt that, that was the game, and it did turn out to be the game that sent Whitehall to the Mountain Valley Conference Championship game and, put Parkland on the sidelines. And they waited a long time, and revenge has, driven this team to a dominating performance here tonight.
Outstanding. And this Parkland team, as you mentioned, had some hard knocks along the way, and they have certainly turned some detractors into fans by this performance here tonight and their march into postseason play as well.
4th touchdown of the night for Blyler. He also has an interception. He also has the 2-point conversion. And I'm pretty sure that you can almost say that he might be the youngest player of the game. And that might be a record for us because we still have 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and we're talking about our player of the game.
That would be a record for sure. Brian Bowder falling on the football to give Whitehall good field position here. They will take over at their 32-yard line.
Well, when Frank D'Angelo starts that clock, and it gives new meaning with that, with that mercy rule in there, because this baby's going to go fast.
Well, it gives him one less duty out there tonight for the most part. Caesar lined up wide to the left. Pitch back. Here comes Kurtz. Kurtz looks, decides to keep it, and goes out of bounds. And they will try to remove him from the bottom part of the bench here. Everything is in order. Clock is stopped at 3:04. Adam LeGath and Ben Phillips combining to make the tackle, and we have a penalty against Parkland.
Don't know if we're going to get another look at it, but Adam Scrappitz gets a heck of a block. And this stings. If you're wearing the maroon and gold right now, see if we can pick up 20. Yeah, on the inside. He gets a pancake on the inside there. And they're locked up on the outside. A little tug on the shirt there. And that hit coming, that's a little late. You need to play the whistle. There's no need for that stuff in football. Hear that whistle, you have to pull off.
They mark it at the Parkland 47 after the infraction. Quick pass to Scrappitz. And Scrappitz has the football at the 34-yard line. Another first down for the Zephyrs. Adam LeGath and Ben Phillips again making the tackle.
Well, there are a lot of positives, to this season. Certainly the Mountain Valley Conference Championship and Adam Scrappitz. Now the new single-season reception leader had 4 in the first half to take him to 49.
Wow.
50th reception of the year. Again, Chad Schwank had 48 a season ago, catching passes from Chris Hudak.
Schwank, short pass again, fires it in and out of the hands of Scrappitz. And that short passing game is responsible for a lot of what Whitehall has accomplished this season.
Of course, Chris Hudak is playing as a freshman at Mansfield. A couple of weeks ago, he was ECAC Rookie of the Week.
Wow.
Well, another thing, too, you look at, Parkland not only lost that first regular season game this year, but lost in the district finals a year ago after beating Whitehall during the regular season.
Caesar and Scrappitz to the left, Delgado to the right. Bartsack and Kurtz into block. Schwank over the middle has Caesar. It's juggled and it's dropped incomplete. Caesar with a remarkable reception in the end zone in the second quarter. Almost had to pull off the same feet as he stretched out for this one.
Not going to see this happen a lot, and it's, certainly understandable that, when you look at that scoreboard, you might have a little loss of concentration. It's hard to even imagine what might be going through the minds of these seniors here for Whitehall right now. Is you have to realize that this thing is, you never give up when you're playing, but this is a desperate situation.
We're into the final minute already of this third quarter. And timeout called here by Parkland. Taking precautions here, not quite ready for that snap. They use a timeout, their first of this second half.
I want to remind our viewers we'll be right back at it Saturday. If you're watching tonight's game live here on TV2, we'll be at it tomorrow afternoon. Central Catholic will host Danville. Danville, an explosive team, 9-2. Coming into J. Bernie Crum Stadium. Live coverage of the sub-regional playoff coming your way at 1 o'clock. We'll be on the air at 12:50 with the pregame show.
Hey, don't forget, if you're watching our live telecast right now, Friday evening, we will show the replay immediately following the conclusion of this live telecast.
Of course, tomorrow night we'll also have Pius X and Schuylkill Haven coming your way at 10 o'clock. Same-day coverage.
Looking forward to working with Jim Wills on that one. We'll be up at Bangor High School. Good single-A football around these parts, especially a little north of the Lehigh Valley.
Hey, you look at what a couple of Pius X grads are doing right now at Lehigh University, and 10 o'clock playback, same day. But you look at what Nick Martucci and Phil Stambaugh are doing at Lehigh. They play great football.
Here's Scrappitz. Schwank floating it out there for him, and this ball is incomplete. And slow in getting up from that play is one of the Whitehall Zephyrs, number 55, Mike Coca.
Well, and again, Schwank has felt pressure all night long, and he's delivered another good pass. And that thing is well covered again by Ben Phillips. So there's some good execution by a lot of guys on that play. And I'm sure it's one that Scrappitz would like to have back and have another opportunity at it.
Well, Mike Coca will stay in at center. Schwank with time, lots of time. Will hook it now. Dances his way through the middle. Nice job of evading two tackles. He's finally brought down at the 27-yard line. And that was the final play of this third quarter. The mercy rule in effect. Parkland capitalizing, leading Whitehall 42-7 in this District 11 4A championship. We'll be right back with the final quarter right after this on TV2 Sports. Hard to believe, and you know that's exactly what's going through the minds of those fine athletes for the Whitehall Zephyrs coming into this contest. 11 wins, no blemishes in the loss column, and they have simply been rocked by the Parkland Trojans tonight. We're about ready to begin the fourth quarter, and the score stands 42-7 Parkland.
I don't know that you can look so much at what Whitehall didn't do tonight as so much as you look at what Parkland has done. There's been a tremendous show here by the guys in red and white.
Well, no matter what Parkland does, they will run the clock out here as we are in the mercy rule. 35-point disadvantage kicks the clock into high gear in effect. Andrew Hudak comes up with the tackle there.
Third quarter numbers, Parkland 3 first down, 77 yards rushing, 1 for 2 passing. Their only completion of the night went for 4 yards, 81 yards total offense. Whitehall a better quarter, 5 first downs, -1 yard rushing, 4 for 12 passing, 92 yards, 1 interception, total 91 yards.
2nd and 6. And Parkland mixing it up a little bit here. I believe that was Terry Thomas, number 30, getting one of his first plays here. He's met by Mike Hobel.
Well, and when you talk about the good effort that Parkland gave you here tonight, now remember last week the game that Michael Hobel played against Beck, a couple of sacks. They just played so well. It's the first opportunity we're going to get to call his name here. And again, credit, I think, has to go to Parkland. They just did a great job of blocking and tackling, and that's what football is all about.
He spells Blyler at tailback, and he gets another carry, Terry Thomas, the 5'8", 165-pound sophomore.
Well, no relation to the graduated Matt Thomas.
Whitehall 39-yard line.
Has carried it 27 times for 239 yards, has scored a couple of touchdowns. I'm going to get an opportunity, it looks like, to carry it a few more times here tonight. Only a sophomore.
Tell you what, with the last name of Thomas and playing tailback, got some great expectations out there.
How about wearing number 30? That's the number of Matt Thomas. I'm sure he put in for that.
Terry Thomas on first down, collects about 3 yards. Met by Andrew Hudak. Gain of 4.
Yeah, disappointing, but when they look at it all, when they add it all up, in the Mountain Valley Conference Championship and an 11-0 season to this point, it's special. Ran into a buzzsaw here tonight as we're going to get a penalty marker. Could be delay a game.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against...
Heck, there was nothing going on. There must have been some taunting. Probably some stuff going on between the players in the field and maybe the field over there. All right, Al DiCarlo with a report from the sidelines.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Obviously, a football game, someone's got to lose, someone's got to win. On the Whitehall sideline, I think you saw it, a lot of dejected faces. I know I saw Michael Coca very upset. He had said, this is my last game as a Whitehall Zephyr, disappointed. On this sideline, everyone jumping on Sean Blyther, a lot of smiling faces at Parkland as they're going to win the district championship. I'm looking at Bill Heinzelman right now, and he's fired up also. So it's some proud faces on this side and some dejected faces on that side, but a heck of a season by those Whitehall Zephyrs. Back to you guys.
And that's the one thing about this time of year, especially when you're a senior. Every time you lace it up on a Friday night now, you face that perspective of it being your last high school game, and reality has really set in terms of Whitehall much too early for their liking. 11-0 season, and you never, ever expect something like this to happen, especially when you're unbeaten. But it has, and again, I think the credit has to go to the guys wearing white and red tonight.
Absolutely. They came out just firing away as if it was a heavyweight championship fight.
And have not let up. I thought there were, everybody felt there were two keys. I mean, number one, that if Parkland's going to win, they have to run the ball. And if Whitehall's going to win, they have to throw the ball. And, Whitehall, was harassed throwing the ball. Fought 4 interceptions, a couple of sacks. So the Trojans did a good job in executing their game plan.
Parkland, again, if you're just joining us, 2 quick strikes within the first 2 minutes of the contest. Sean Blyther running more than 40 yards for the first touchdown, and then a key interception by Fay, setting up a second touchdown deep in Whitehall territory.
We talked about Coach Snizek in that mercy role. When they got, when it invoked against Central Catholic, they lost that one 43-12. But they also played to it in their first game against Williamsport, and then their third game against Lehighton.
And off to Thomas. Thomas for the first. He crosses the 30-yard line.
Trojans opened the year beating Williamsport 42-13, lost to Central 43-12. Came back to beat Lehighton 48-7, Pleasant Valley 33-7, beat Northampton 20-13. Northampton a heck of a year this year. They're playing Liberty tonight for that Eastern Conference title. That's a rematch in that game. Then lost to Whitehall 28-19, beat Liberty 31-6, Freedom 34-15, Easton 39-13, East Stroudsburg 28-20, and Nazareth 47-33.
First and 10 for the Trojans on the 27-yard line of Whitehall. Here's Thomas again. Nothing fancy, just doing a nice job of following his lead blockers. And he is finally stopped by Mark Bartsack after a gain of about 4.
Look at those offensive totals for Parkland. There's only been 2 occasions where they've been held under 20 points this year, and they lost both games, Whitehall and Central Catholic. Everything else has been 20 plus, and this is going to be the 4th time they score more than 40. They have 345 yards here tonight with 1 pass completion.
That tells the story right there.
Actually, 349. The 1 pass completion went for 4 yards.
Ortenbaugh hands off. Not much happening there as the Whitehall defense line collapses on the play. Mike Scrappet's coming up to make the tackle.
Trojans won their very first District 11 crown in '96 under Coach Snizak. Also won the East Penn Conference year. That year they went to 13-1 and made it to the Eastern Finals. A 13-win season in '96, a 9-win season last year, and this win here tonight will give them a 10-win season. There aren't too many programs doing it much better than that right now.
3rd and 3 for the Trojans. Here's Thomas, and he is hit early and spun back around. No gain on the play. Lost a yard. Mark Bartsack coming in to make the stop.
Yeah, Massacre. Yeah, his uniform's still clean. They didn't even have to go to that guy. 3 touchdowns just a week ago in that win over Nazareth, over 200 yards, and you throw the guy 1 pass here tonight and you win going away. That's pretty explosive. That's pretty many options to have when you're talking offense.
And that's got to scare the dickens for the next opponent out of district.
No, that's either going to be Central Dauphin or Cumberland Valley. That game will be played tomorrow at Hershey Park at 12 o'clock. Cumberland Valley 10-1 and Central Dauphin 11-0. Of course, Central Dauphin is the same team that beat Whitehall last year in the first round of the state tournament. They eventually lost to CB West. I believe it was in the Eastern Final. CB West went on to win the state championship.
Well, a handoff to Thomas here on 4th down. Thomas just a yard shy of that marker, so Whitehall will take over inside its own 20-yard line at the 19.
42-7, 5:10 to go in regulation.
Hope you're enjoying our live telecast here tonight on a Friday evening. And again, a reminder, if you know anybody at the game, tell them they'll get a shot to see it on TV and the slow-mo instant replay that you've come to know and love with TV2. We'll show it again right at the conclusion of this live telecast. Quick outlet pass, and it is caught by Scrappitz. Scrappitz to the 24-yard line. Tackle made by Jeremy Gordon. (42-7). The mercy rule is in effect if you're just joining us.
A lot of new jerseys in there defensively now for Parkland. White jerseys, I guess I should say.
Lots and lots, as you mentioned, all but maybe one player.
Yeah, that celebration is going on already over there in Orfield. You know, the scary thing, you know, if you're a coach in the Mountain Valley Conference or in the district, again, you know, most of the guys we're calling out here tonight are juniors. Now, this is a junior class, Dan, and we talked about it when they did lose to Central Catholic. As freshmen, as a group, they did not lose a game. As sophomores, they did not lose a game. Now, as starters here in the varsity, you get mixed in with some seniors in that, but that was really their first taste of defeat, you know, when in a Trojan uniform.
So with a year of starting and having the varsity letter this year, it could be they'll be back stronger next year. And we saw Snizak insert some juniors up front here before the widespread substitution to try to get them in with some of the starters.
Chad Schwank, 203 yards passing here tonight. And I'll tell you, that's a great accomplishment for him. That's a truly great accomplishment. He's been harassed. He has been intercepted 4 times, but under a great deal of pressure most of the night.
Able to connect one time, well, I should say for a touchdown one time, connecting all over tonight. Back to Joel Caesar, and he goes to Joel Caesar long here, double coverage as Caesar nearly comes up with another highlight catch. Incomplete, he was out of bounds.
You know, when you look at the Whitehall sidelines, and I think I think you have to put it in perspective. You know, the guys on the other side, Tony Coca said it at halftime, a little bit more desire, and it was one of the things he said during the week. You know, and if you win that game during the regular season, you know, it just becomes obvious that the team that loses comes in psychologically with maybe something more to prove.
Good point.
You know, Parkland really came in here revved up tonight.
Swank on 3rd and 10. His receiver fell. He goes to Caesar instead. Caesar with a first down, trying to break free, and he's taken down at his own 47-yard line.
Nice tackle. Joe Zader is junior, 6'1", 185-pounder, good size. Linebacker will also play offensively as a tight end.
New set of downs for Whitehall. Schwank looking, floats it, and it's nearly picked off there. Looks like Stephen Kilroy, who could be a quarterback of the future, playing defensive back, nearly coming up with the pick.
Kilroy, one of those guys that, will be remembered. I have him listed as a senior here.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He'll be remembered as, you have to give guys like that special recognition. A guy that we haven't called his number the last couple years, so obviously has not played a lot, but going to be a part of a district championship team, and that's something special.
Holding the call against the Zephyrs.
And of course, Chad Schwank needs one more touchdown pass to break the single season record set by Chris Hudak a year ago. He's already broken the yardage mark.
Hard to believe, Mike, less than 2 minutes remaining in this contest. Fast forward with the mercy rule in effect, as the clock is not stopping for a whole lot out there.
Well, they started the mercy rule. They went into effect 3 minutes into the third quarter, which was 8:45 if you're watching the game live, and we're now at 4 minutes after 9. So, yeah, it flies.
Helmets raised high over the Parkland sideline, as it's just a matter of formality at this point. Parkland's doing a tremendous job of getting things going their way early. Quick pass to Scrappitz, and he is hit hard at the 40. Brought down at the 42-yard line. Bob Grimm, one of the seniors, making a tackle there.
Now under a minute, perhaps chance for one more throw from number 10. Been a magical year, but this Cinderella season will come to an end. The clock will strike midnight. It's been a great run for these guys. 11 straight. Celebration already underway across the way.
Hand off to Bartzak. Look at Bartzak. Will, we have seen him banged up, hurt, taken off the field, only to come back time and time again. One of the fine players for the Whitehall Zephyrs, Mark Bartzak. Team leader as a senior. 10 seconds remaining. And the Whitehall fans and the players start to get into it. They will move on into PIAA 4A playoffs after defeating Whitehall, the only team to do it this year. Final score 42-7. What an amazing effort by that man and that team.
I don't think that you're ever as good as you look in a game like this, or that the other team is as bad and, emotional. We talked about this last week. Those Whitehall seniors, these are guys that have been chumming around and palling around. Those are two guys there that coached the district title game together at Allen, Andy Poloni and Rich Snizak. Andy Poloni was on that staff, but you look at these Whitehall guys, they've been pals and chums, a lot of them since kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and they're going to go their separate ways after graduation. But boy, what many memories that they take with them here. Congratulations to Tony Koch on a great season. They'll wind up 11-1, and of course Rich Snizak, the beat will go on. And you can't say enough about them having an opportunity to take this wealth of talent, all these juniors, into the state tournament. And heck, the future's now. Why wait until next year? Now, everybody said this team might be a year away from its best football, which might be true, but there's no law says that you have to wait until next year to go on and win a state title. I mean, the way they played here tonight, they'd be hard to beat. A dominating performance here for this Parkland team.
Al DiCarlo has an interview for us, Al.
All right, Dan, thanks a lot, Coach. District champs, how does that sound?
Well, that was a goal of ours. We're awful proud, but my hat goes off to Whitehall. There's a lot of pressure being 11-0. We were that way 2 years ago, and, Tony and his staff did a great job all year. Tony should definitely be Coach of the Year. Schwenk should be Player of the Year, and Whitehall should still be Team of the Year.
What about Sean Blyler's performance tonight? What can you say about him?
Sean played with a lot of heart tonight, and, we're proud of him, as all our kids did. They stepped up to the table, and, no one counted us in this one. All year long, we were a year away, and the kids fulfilled their potential tonight.
You said a year away, everybody's been saying that, but your offensive line made those holes happen tonight.
We practiced real hard all year long. We play a game almost every day in practice, and tonight it came off that we could execute.
A little early, but Central Dauphin or Cumberland Valley. Any thoughts of that matchup yet?
I'd like to just enjoy this with my coaches. Hey, I have one of the best coaching staffs. They do a great job, and I think this district title's for them and these kids. They did a fantastic job.
Rich, go enjoy it with your team.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Rich Schnizak. We'll have a couple of players afterwards.
I think Al's in jeopardy.
Get
a helmet on.
Actually, stay here. Let's grab.
How are those headsets working now, Al?
Are you still in there with us, Al?
You want to get? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Al.
All right, Dan Christos Lecky down here with us, district champs. How does that sound?
This is one of the most unbelievable feelings I ever had in my life. You know, everyone told us we couldn't do it. No one wanted us to do it. We knew all along that last game they came out and we let them we gave it to them. When we came out tonight, we took it. Feels great.
Sean Blyler had 4 touchdowns, but your offensive line really made that happen.
Yeah, we knew we could. We worked hard. We knew that we were going to win the game on the line of scrimmage, and we came out. We knew the ball was wet. We weren't going to pass as much, and I don't know. It just feels great.
You got a trophy coming? Go get it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That's Christos Lecky, and we'll send it back up until we get a couple more interviews. Definitely we'll get Sean Blyler. Back to you guys.
Good job, Al. Man, he toughed it out down there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think he took a couple of hits in there. I give him some credit. You know, again, our Yakos player of the game, Sean Blyler.
Yeah.
And the game there was called Monday morning after 9 o'clock. The first caller to identify Sean Blyler as our Yakos player of the game will win a Yakos doggy pack. Of course, courtesy of Yako Hot Dogs.
Oh,
Gary and Julie Iacoca are heavily involved in what's happening with our youngsters, and you know, we've been doing that all year, and we've had a great response with that, and you know, really had a lot of fun with it. But Sean Blyler, or Yako's player of the game, and why not? What do you have? 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards, and I think he's got him right now. Al's might be the only guy to be able to catch him tonight. Go ahead, Al.
You got him, Mike. I did catch up to him. 4 touchdowns, over 230 yards rushing tonight. District champs, how's it feel?
Good. It feels great. We'll be back next year also. Our line did a great job blocking. We had a couple key picks, and that was a game.
And offensive line, you mentioned it all night long. You guys found it open. If it wasn't you, it was someone else.
Yeah. Kraus did a great job. Trey picked it up. We ran all over him.
When I say district champs, what does that mean?
It feels great.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. Not much for words is Sean Blyler. Just enjoying it down here. We'll have a couple more and send it back upstairs, guys.
Well, Al, it took him all of 48 seconds to make an impact on this contest. His first touchdown, a 48-yard sprint. And as you mentioned, he just never slowed down. 4 touchdowns on the night, and Blyler certainly earns that Yakos Player of the Game award.
Well, heck, when you can run like him, you don't have to talk. I mean, that's impressive stuff. Third time the District 11 champ in terms of football anyway. He won a couple of them when he was back as the head baseball coach at Durham High School. Of course, that's his alma mater, Rich Schnizak, but won a district crown in '92 with Allen, and now his second one here at Parkland. Back to Al.
All right, guys. Like, didn't play the first game, played this one, and really made an impact tonight. How did it feel out there?
It felt great. I mean, it was just great to play and finally get back at him.
What about district champ? What does that mean to you?
Just another step. I hope we keep going on, state title.
I know, like everybody else, you're just excited right now.
Yeah, it feels great.
You guys are quiet and you guys win.
We're not much talkers, I guess.
Not much talkers, just players.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations, Oliver Lecky. Mike, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Al. Maybe you can try and dig up Tony Coca, too, if he gets a moment. I mean, what a great season, and hopefully he can, I'm sure he'll come on with us. But let's look at the final numbers here for Whitehall. 13 first downs, 16 yards rushing, 16 of 33, 4 interceptions, 233 yards for Chad Schwank, 249 total yards. They lost no fumbles, punted 2 times for 35-yard average, penalized 4 times for 40 yards. Schwank 5 carries, 12 yards, really got nothing out of that running game. Scrappett 7 carries, 70 yards. He is the school's all-time single-seating leading receiver with over 50 receptions. I believe that and look at this effort. 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles, It's at the point of the game where that line, it just, now they're stripping at the ball. That's 4, 5 guys until it finally got Sean Blyler down to the ground. And at a point in the game, Dan Mowdy, where, maybe a little bit, fatigued, but, that's because of the play of that offense for Parkland. And,
absolutely.
And it's amazing how hard these guys play for that.
Took the 7th guy to bring Blyler down.
Yep.
That is a truly amazing effort and kind of an overview of what this night was like for that young man. He was in the zone. I think the entire team was in the zone, and that's probably why we didn't get a whole lot of words out of Rich Snizak after the halftime break. He just didn't want to disturb anything out there.
Well, I don't know what you can say. When you play a first half like that and you dominate that first half like that, it's, there isn't a whole lot you can say. I mean, you have to go into the locker room and make sure your team continues to play football. See Tony Coca and and even Rich Snizak can win. I don't think there's a question. And there's a guy left his heart on the field. And look at 61, Chris Hudak. This is a tough moment. It's a tough moment. A great season, 11-1, but that's. You don't ever expect this to happen, and you come out on a losing end. And I think Rich Snizak said something real important. A lot of pressure on Whitehall. As you build and build, and we're seeing a lot of unbeatens. Of course Lehigh. And even in the pros. When you keep hanging on, that's all people are talking about. You're not beaten, and then it's the expectations become awful high.
Well, the hardware remains right in the middle of the field as we continue to honor the hard-charging Whitehall Zephyrs. They were the golden season this year and the team to beat all throughout, and that alone makes it tough to go undefeated, but they managed to have that right for 11 matches, hard-fought matches. They did dispose of some really tough teams along the way, and deserve a lot of credit for their second-place finish here, and of course the championship for the Mountain Valley Conference.
So one of the guys that, and I thought was really a key here tonight, I think tonight Whitehall missed Chris Check. Number 77 was just in his blazer there or his windbreaker and wasn't able to play. Chris Check had a heck of a year this year, and I think, they lost him in that Nazareth game, and while they were able to get by last week, I think that hurt them a little bit here tonight.
I think that was kind of fitting right there. Hobel keeping his helmet on right to the very end, and that's the kind of performance he's given Whitehall all year. And Snizak with some very kind words towards Whitehall and the fact that they should sweep postseason honors. His sights set on the District 11 championship, and we give him all the credit in the world for bringing this team along. Let's go to Al DiCarlo for a quick interview. Al?
All right, Dan, thanks a lot. Down here with Tony Coca. And Tony, a tough night, obviously, for your squad, but a heck of a year for your team.
Yeah, it hurts right now, but tomorrow we'll recover. Kids will look back at the season that they had. They should be very proud. 11-1. There's a lot of teams that never thought that we'd be here, a lot of people, and we're here. We just fell a little bit short. Every now and then you got a stinker, and tonight we played the stinker on a championship night. But Parkland's a heck of a football team. They'll represent District 11 real well next week, and I wish them and Richie the best of luck. They're a heck of a ball club. But we rode the horse as long as we could, and the horse fell over in mid-stretch.
You lose a lot of seniors, Chad Schwank being one of them. Obviously, a great year from him.
Yeah, what can I say? He was the leading receiver up until tonight. I guess Adam Scrappet's got that, and now he's our leading passer. So, the kid's just a career kid. He's got a great future ahead of him, and, like I said, we'll talk inside my locker room with the kids, but there's the whole group, the whole kids. Our senior leadership was great, but we have some people coming back, so I think we'll be knocking on some doors again next year.
I talked to Rich Snizak after the game, and he said, Coach of the Year, Tony Coca.
Whatever happens. The individual things don't mean a lot to me, to be honest with you. If it happens, it happens. There's a lot better coaches out there than I am, and a lot better people than I am. But, we're just going to have to recover tonight.
Congratulations, Tony, to you and your team for a great year.
Thanks, Al. Really appreciate it.
That's Tony Coca. We'll send it back up to you guys.
All right, Al, thanks for that interview. And Tony Coca, class act all the way through, Mike.
There's no doubt about it, and I think, we talked about it throughout the course of tonight that these two teams are meeting, for the second straight year in the district final, and the reason is because of the Tony Cocas and Rich Snizaks, obviously, but tremendous coaching staffs. These guys really work hard, and contrary to popular belief, these guys do not make a lot of money doing this. They love the sport. They're great with the kids. They teach these kids, and they'd all be commended. And there's no loser out there tonight. Yeah, on the scoreboard, Whitehall comes up on a losing end. But, I mean, it's just a great night for high school, and it's, so often you read so much about, the youth of this country, and you read about the negative. You can tune in here tonight, you can watch a game, you can read about it in the paper. This is the positive, folks. And the coaching staffs deal with these guys, and they do a great job with them. And I don't think I have to tell any parent out there that it's not easy, to keep all of these guys, going the right direction. And these are two schools, these are two programs that do a great job. I think, superintendents of schools, Dr. Lauren Kime, the principal, Mrs. Rosalie Sabo, the athletic director here at Whitehall, Bob Kratzer, and over at Parkland, Superintendent Dr. Gary McCartney, Carl Tershak, the principal, and athletic director, of course, is Rich Nizek. These people are doing a great job.
Well, here is some of the future of Parkland High School as you take a look up and down the line. Each one of them getting a congratulatory pat on the head from head coach Rich Nizek. So many heroes throughout the season. And, looking at their record 9-2, that's going to be very deceiving for any opponent down the line in the States that thinks a 9-2 team doesn't deserve to be there.
Well, they got to add on the win for tonight is going to be 10-2, but they're not going to be taken lightly because one thing, the Lehigh Valley has a good reputation for solid football. And the Mountain Valley Conference is a lot of the old East Penn Conference, and that conference had a great reputation, and you knew you were in for a battle. It's going to be interesting, how this team, and from what I have heard, and again, you'll have to just stay with us. We'll probably know more tomorrow, but I understand that the 4A opener in PIAA will be next Friday night, and I understand possibly at J. Bernie Crum Stadium. The 4A winners staying close to home. There you got to look at two guys who are going to Tim Massacre. I mean, there's a guy only a sophomore. I think, I don't know what the heck to say to you. They say to the guy, maybe, I didn't need you tonight, be ready for next week. But we're going to keep it right here. There's still the trophy to be awarded. You see Mike Meilinger, the principal at Deerhoff High School and representative of District 11.
Interesting that Snizak will have the chance to revisit the site of his first District 11 championship way back in 1992 when he led the Allen Canaries into battle against the Deerhoff Huskies. Snizak winning the East Penn Conference Championship that year against the Huskies, and then Deerhoff coming back the next week to win the district title from Allen.
Yeah, baby! Yeah!
Need say no more.
Well, there you have it, the victorious Parkland Trojans, and I stand corrected. Bill Bickle, our historian, corrects me. It was Snizak winning the district title in '92 with those Allen Canaries. They spotted Deerhoff the East Penn Conference Championship that night, the week before. Well, that now wraps it up here from Whitehall High School. Don't forget, plenty of football coming your way tomorrow, and it all happens right here on TV2 Sports. The final score, Parkland decisively winning the District 11 4A championship. Final score 42-7, and we hate to tease you like this, but we do have a partial score here. Marion Catholic leading Northern Lehigh in the third. That was our last report, 19-12. For Sports Director Mike Zambelli, Al DiCarlo, our spotter, Boyd Ewell, and our stats guy, Bill Bickle. I'm Dan Nowdy. Thanks for joining us on TV2 Sports. Good night, everybody.